Hi, welcome to episode 21 of the podcast. On today's episode, I have a guest, and my first guest on season 3 is Rohini Ramnathan. Rohini, say hi.
Myself, Seema Taparia from Mumbai.
All right, before we jump into the episode, I'm going to quickly give you some show updates. I have HOTBOX happening tonight. There are a few tickets left. They have Jokes from the Vault on July 31st. You started it live on August 1st. And August 2nd is a very special day, guys, because it's my birthday. So I'm doing a very special version of HOTBOX. It's called HOTBOX 36. Tickets for all these shows are available in the video description. Go get them now. All right, Ro, glad to have you back on the podcast. You're the first recurring guest. How does that feel? Are you excited?
You know, Daniel, I love your podcast. Let me start off with that. It is literally my favorite thing to watch. And I think you've got a great fan base who are so intelligent. Like, you know,
they're damn smart.
Your videos and I just say, man, Daniel ke fans mujhe bhi chahiye. So please, you know, share your fans with me. They're so lovely.
They are very smart. They're very smart. But I'm not sharing. I've worked really hard to acquire them. Now they are my prisoners of fandom.
Your prisoners, yeah.
But the reason why I got you on as a guest this week is because I watched Indian Matchmaking on Netflix.
Who did? The
and as I'm watching this show, I'm definitely talking about this on the podcast, but I have to have a guest, and who better than the Seema Taparia of my life, Rohini, because you are. If you dial it back a few years, Rohini, you are my
very inside joke. So
and it's a very slippery slope also.
And it's a bad joke. So okay, let me just say, I am the Seema Taparia of your life because that match literally was was wrong and it didn't work out in these ways. Okay.
Because the thing was, there was too much adjustment and compromise.
And you were just not flexible enough.
And I was not flexible enough, no. Anyway, so the whole country and beyond is talking about Indian matchmaking. People from all over the world, and the reactions are a mix of cringe, laughter, hate watch, yeah. And for those of you who haven't watched this show yet, Indian Matchmaking is Netflix's newest sitcom that stars Seema Auntie as the protagonist, who is on a very noble mission to help people find true love in exchange for lots of money.
Yeah. People who are already watched the show, they're with us right now, so we can
yes
be spoilers. Okay,
this episode is going to be full of spoilers, guys, so if you haven't watched the show, watch the show after we get done. Don't leave the podcast, just stay here.
Okay.
It's going to be exciting either way. So who are the main characters in this show? Of course, there's Seema Auntie. She calls her Seema Mami or
Seema Auntie.
Seema Auntie sounds better, na? Because everybody has a Seema Auntie.
Is like, talking about her as Seema Auntie. And also SIMA, and it's not SEEMA. So let's start with that.
Correct. And there are a bunch of people, both from India and, of course, NRIs. Because Netflix can't make a show about Indians without NRIs. I mean, what is India, Rohini, without the people who
left?
The people who left the country. So, of course, NRIs to hona hi chahiye. And Seema keeps shuttling back and forth between Mumbai and various parts of America to help people find their one true love. Who are your favorite characters from the show?
Oh, hands down, Nadia. Like, as a person, like if I would want to be friends with someone, it would be her. She's so real. She also not very demanding, because she's Guyanese. So because she's Guyanese, I think वो खुद समझ गई है, and then she said, I can't be this demanding. But also she's just such a genuine person. She doesn't, she's flexible. She can compromise. And
she's very flexible. Yeah, I saw.
Very flexible. So I loved Nadia, and I was rooting for Nadia to find someone. And She found someone, which was great.
Yeah, you're talking about the first guy, right? Vinay.
Oh God, no, that was a road flag.
Vinay was the first guy. No, there was another guy she met before
Oh,
Vinay.
Guru. How can you forget Guru, who looks
Guru.
so good on paper because A, he was Guyanese, and
Huh.
B, he was also a lawyer. And then he
Yeah.
used to speak to her, and it was the most that meeting was deader than like my phone at this point. It's really dead, like whatever.
Yeah, and she ordered a drink, and he rolled his eyes at her, and I'm just like, okay, this is not happening.
Yeah, because she ordered a mimosa.
Mimosa, yeah. Like if I was on that date, I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah,
my
baby.
kind of girl. Yeah. Forget this mimosa shots. One round of shots. Let's start. Like
Yeah.
I think
It's so weird because it was so loaded, right? Because she ordered a mimosa and he ordered an orange juice. The sad thing is that these are still things that people find like are like, red flags. Oh, like she ordered a drink. And I just felt that was like really sad on his
yeah.
part.
But Ro, tell me something. Would you date somebody who didn't drink? Because I had the same thought because I was putting myself in Nadia's shoes, and when he said that he doesn't drink, I'm like, then what's the point? Like you have to be with somebody.
Yeah, to be honest, I have never dated someone who doesn't drink. So I don't know how that'll be. But
Yeah.
I'll just assume that we'll always get home safe because we'll have a driver, which is great. But that's okay. Yeah, like I don't know how that would be really.
Okay, not a big red flag for you. Okay, cool, fine.
No, yeah, it's okay. But if you're gonna red flag me because I ordered that drink, I think that is judgmental about that situation, right? Because Guru was like, I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
I hate the buts. Like the buts are just wrong.
Okay, so Seema easily the most likable out of all the women on the show. Out of sorry. See, Nadia.
तो सीमा आंटी पसंद है
Why? No, but Nadia, the most likable women on the show, from all the women on the show, and amongst the men, my personal favorite was Vyasar.
Oh, poor Vyasar. 1 second. Can I please 1 second silence for Vyasar's really cute exterior and really dark interior.
Oh, yeah.
A dark past. Like Pavam guy, dude, he was South Indian Ganesh and he was, so I felt very bad.
Yeah. So we're very, very likable. I think I was rooting for him among all the guys. And then, of course, we had our other quirky characters. There was Aparna.
Aparna is very rigid.
Very rigid. Oh, no, according to Seema, she was very difficult. She's very difficult because, no, Rohini, because she knows what she wants. No, now, if a woman... See, if a woman knows what she wants, she's very difficult. No, I mean, how can she be so sure?
See, this is where I'm torn about Aparna. On one level, Aparna is like, you'd like to believe that we are all these women, right? Like, knows what I want. I'm a career woman, take my career seriously. And for some reason, like traveling is so important. Like, I know people like to travel, but you don't have to make that like the fulcrum of your existence. Like, like the salt flats in Bolivia. Like, chalna, theek hai, thode se paise ban gaye.
Did you find that she was a bit of a prude?
Prude? Oh my God, she was just downright like obnoxious. And that's the thing. Like the portrayal of a woman who knows what she wants. This is going back to Bollywood, right? Old school Bollywood. Where if the woman is a negative character, she's like a vamp, okay? And if she's a positive character, she's like a Sati Savitri Devi. And I felt that was in Aparna as well. Aparna represented us, which is women in her 30s looking to get married. But it doesn't have to be this woman. Like she misrepresented so many women who are also a lot. Like I think Ankita in that sense was a lot closer to our representation than an Aparna.
Correct.
Aparna has her own problems. Without the narrative of being the single 30s woman, she's quite problematic. I don't want to be friends with her.
That is true, right? But she had, I think Aparna had the best line in the entire show. The line that made me really crack up when she said, I see my friends and they are with their husbands all the time. And I'm like, don't you hate that person? You see them all the time. I was just like, but that is so true, dude. Like, how At what point of a marriage does love turn into hate if you see the person all the time?
Well,
People, married people in quarantine, please answer. At what point did the love turn to hate? But I love the innocence with which she asked that question. Don't you hate that person? Say, "Hamesha tere saath hi hai wo."
But can I tell you, like, I'm not a shrink, but I really feel that Aparna is who she is only because of her mom. Because I got shocked when her mom said stuff like, when my kids came to New York with me, I told them, "You will never embarrass me. You will never get a grade. You will never do this. Never embarrass." And I was like, wow, how does one grow up with such a strong, sort of maternal figure? And obviously you turn around to not rebel in this way, but also like become this sort of like angry person, Oh.
Yeah. A mom definitely. I didn't like the mom's vibe. She was very controlling. It was very like, you will do what I tell you to do. You will marry who I tell you to marry. And how she called that guy a loser, dude.
I was like, Srini the loser. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, mujhe de do Srini. I will like Srini. I will go out with Srini. He is a podcast host. He's a keynote speaker. And he's very well read.
And he knows to throw an axe. You never know when that will come in handy. You should always be with somebody who knows how to use some weapon. I think, like, if you have a checklist of people, if you have a checklist of things you're looking for when you're dating, when you're looking to date, I think ability to use a weapon is a good one to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They're not on me, but yes, in general, yeah.
Obviously not.
Just clarifying.
Can't afford so much therapy, bro.
Aparna. I don't even call her Aparna. I'm like, Aparna. Aparna, just her track is abandoned like mid-show, like because they're just like, kuch nahi ho sakta. Let's just move on to other couples. It was so random.
Yeah, and I love what Seema said, whenever I think of Aparna, I feel tired. That was hilarious.
I wonder how these people are continuing. Like I, for example, went online and searched all their profiles. I didn't find anybody,
I found Nadia. I mean, out of all the people on the show who was Instagram worthy, come on, everybody search for Nadia. She's the most Instagram worthy, and she's like super down to earth in spite of like, and she's successful, dude. Like,
she's successful. Can I please say that Vinny was a shit?
Sorry, you'll have to say that again. I think the audio cracked a bit. Go for it.
Vinny was a shit.
Oh yeah, that whole standing her up and that too twice.
And then with some random excuse, like he was just so non-reliable. And I love the show because it just exposes ghosting.
Yeah. I think that's a good lesson for everybody also. Don't stand. If somebody stands you up, dude, that's a red flag. Just get out. Just don't wait for the flowers and the chocolates and shit. Just get out. Like, you took the trouble to get dressed too.
Yeah. And also you're so sweet. Like, don't let anyone treat you that way, girl.
Yeah, girl power.
Girl.
Yeah. And then, of course, there was the dashing Pradyuman.
1 second. I don't know if I'm alone here, but doesn't Pradyuman look like a zombie?
Oh, I thought you were going in another direction. A zombie.
I want to go in your direction. Tell me.
No, I just feel that Pradyuman, and I think a lot of people share this sentiment that he may not, like, did you see how he walked into his closet?
Yeah.
Like with the full confidence, and I'm just like, this is where the magic happens. And
this is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
You don't know the meaning of that phrase, buddy. Like, you don't know. Like, bring girls to your closet. And oh, by the way, I just want to address this quickly. There's an entire section of people on the internet, saying that Pradyuman is so closeted gay. And I just find that very abusive and very, very, it's not right to the gay community. Because if he's not gay, that's just insulting to gay people. So please don't do that. Gay people की बहुत इज्जत होती है. So please Pradyuman को उनमें include मत कीजिए.
Yeah, but bro, what if he is?
Well, what if he is? He is. And then
but are people saying it in an abusive manner? Like,
people are like, oh, he's definitely gay. And what is he's definitely gay? Like, do you know gay men who are not fitting into your like stupid definitions? So yeah, I just want to say that saying that is mean to the LGBTQIA plus.
Yeah, fair. Also, I've stopped reading tweets
But,
and comments. Ho gaya. I'm done.
but
I was just
how can we ignore a man who has his own photo on the doorknobs of his
of
house?
his house.
Like,
Yeah, dude.
who does this? I have never
It's
met a person in real life.
I think if Dan Bilzerian sees this episode, he'll be like, bro,
मैं अपने
kya hai,
पैसे क्या कर
bro?
रहा हूँ?
Ho gaya. What am I doing with my life?
Exactly. You have money, but do you have Pradyuman's class? I don't
Yeah.
think so, buddy.
Yeah. So a lot of interesting characters, and then Seema. Sorry.
Poor Akshay.
Oh, Akshay! How can we forget Akshay?
Why? Like,
I,
I've never met a man who's more scared of his mother, and his
oh,
mother, like, pretty much, like, holds his.
yeah. And I liked how she said the most important quality in Akshay's wife should be that she should be flexible. First of all, why are people using the word flexible so much? I mean, itna flexibility chahiye to marry a rubber band, na?
Exactly.
Like what? And it was so weird to hear the mom say that, because I'm like, what do you want them to do that she needs to be super flexible? Like it's
very simple. This just boils down to the whole, like, आपकी बेटी चाहे lawyer हो, चाहे जो भी हो, it doesn't matter. When she comes to our house, now my house, my rules. That's what this.
Yeah, she said that, and she even said that on the show. This is my house, and I think they already have. I think the older brother's already married, and his wife is doing the house. And every time the camera panned to her, you could see she had this look on her face. Oh dear Lord, I feel so sorry for whoever's coming
Oh my
next.
God. And do you know, when you load, and I like the show for another reason as well, they have also shown men as the victim of this sort of construct, right? Where both the boys, like Pradyuman has his own issues and he's very, very shallow. And remember the guy is like, he will go for a hot girl, and that's what he did at the end of it. I have some inside scoop you want over.
Baad mein.
Oh.
Hasn't we'll tie it up to a little later. We'll tie this up.
Wait with me, huh? But
you mean like after the podcast? You don't say it on air.
No, I'll say it on air only, but it's about Pradyuman and that girl.
अच्छा अभी बोलने क्या बोल रहा था बोल ले.
So he rode on the horse with, remember?
Yeah.
Apparently she was a gold digger.
Oh.
And they found out, and then that rishta got like cut and all, is what I heard. But I don't, like my point is that this is so crazy because everyone's going searching these people and like trying to say hua ke nahi hua. But with Akshay specifically, I want to come back to the point that I love the fact that the show actually showed us how the men are also victims of the same patriarchy and oppression.
Yeah.
Because the mother says stuff like, because of you, your brother can't have a child.
Oh yeah. I was like, and for a second I was just like, why do you need Akshay for that? Like, does the brother not know where to put it or how to?
This is a very real thing, Danny, where you say that they want to enjoy your wedding. If they have a child, and I know families like this, so I understand the idea that shadi ho, while you're getting married, they should not be pregnant. They should let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy their life. Then after that, of course, they can go have their child. And I find that that's so oppressive because this boy is getting like squeezed, right? And I just felt that I have seen families like this. And the weirdest thing or the best thing about the show is also the fact that comedy is never funny to the person who's experiencing it, So they're doing it in all seriousness. Okay, this is really their reality. There are two sorts of people. One section which is saying, oh my God, this is too real. I understand, I identify with this. The other ones are us, who didn't go through this and who are laughing their asses off saying, aise kaise ho sakta hai? But this is the truth. This is the majority of our country.
Yeah, and I think that's what I think that's how Netflix hit a big six with this one, because it was literally, because how can you get mad at the show? It's not fiction. It is our reality. How you can't if you can't get offended and go like, what the fuck, you can't. This is who we are. And everybody who has watched the show has identified with at least one character in that show. Everyone knows a Seema, everyone knows an Akshay, everyone knows a Nadia also, everyone knows Vinny, Pradyuman. We have all those people in our circles.
Correct.
So the line between, there is no line between fiction and reality on the show.
Just stare into silence because that's so true.
It's just there.
It's like so
Because
scary that you said that because it's true. It's like, and the other thing about the show, which I think is, and I must share this with you, I shared an Instagram post saying hate watching. Okay, because I'm coming from that space of, hey man, I'm having a really stressful time. I'm working 9 to the dozen. This is like literally something I want to watch and laugh, right? So out of that space, I put a post. The amount of women who wrote to me saying, Ro, this is so problematic. And I said, oh my God, what now? Because everything is problematic.
yeah.
Internet, what happened? What did I do? They're like, no, not you. But this show is so triggering to us because we have been these women. There have been posts and threads written on Twitter, by women who've been through this, by men as well. And it is the sad truth of our times. And that's why that 1 second silence we both did, because you and I are not victims of this, Danny? It's touch wood. But for someone who's been through this, their relationship with their parents gets destroyed completely.
Not just their parents, if their relationship with themselves. I mean, imagine, like, for example, when I think they said Pradyuman himself rejected 150 women.
Hey, 1 second, I have a big problem with this rejected concept.
Exactly. But that's what I mean. So when you say no, so first of all, you are putting your children on a menu, like there are some cattle, like this is her degree, or this is his education background, this is what his salary is, blah, blah, blah. You're serving them up on a platter to a bunch of total strangers and their families. And then their families just look and go, no, we don't want, most of the time they get rejected. So now not only have you put your child into a situation where they are being auditioned, so to say, and then when they get rejected, now the child is also thinking ki bhai mere mein kami kya hai, itna sab. Because you're presenting what you think is the best version of your child, and then someone says no repeatedly. So that's going to have a toll on the child as well.
Confidence. Absolutely. And sometimes the reasons are so crazy, like whatever you think is your plus point, like you're educated, could be actually your minus point. And then you go into the spiral of self-doubt, right? Like, am I good enough? And like and it's crazy how at the end of it, when two people say yes to each other, like in Akshay's case with that girl, remember when they went to Udaipur? And when they went to Udaipur, like, you remember the conversation they had? It was so awkward. No, like in person.
Oh, the first time they met,
So what's up? And then he's like, oh, don't put me on the spot like that. And I was like, but just ask you what's up.
But this is also a product of a very Indian thing, where a lot of kids these days, even in our time, when they were being raised, they were very sheltered. We were not allowed to mix around with the opposite gender. And then suddenly you're thrown in a situation. So remember going to school, going to college, don't talk to girls, don't talk to boys. Boys are bad, girls are bad. That was constantly, drilled into our heads. And now suddenly you're an adult. You're in the real world. You have no experience about how to talk to the opposite gender. And then suddenly straight away you have to deal with someone who might be your husband or wife. And they don't know how to handle a situation like this.
Yeah, it's awkward for the least to say. But, I also think that you and I will probably never know this, Danny, but there is an entire segment for whom agar arranged marriage nahi hota na, to shaadi nahi hoti. Okay? Exactly because of this same reason. Because I'm not talking in terms of the game value, but it's also this sort of like, we will only herd with our people like us. What does the arranged marriage system do? It makes sure that you don't crossbreed. It makes sure that you don't cross barriers of caste, of class, more importantly, and it's all a function of class dynamics at the end of the day, because you're like, their family is good enough for our family. Think about it.
It's a very structured approach.
Yeah, it's a way to maintain status quo. What else is there? It is just a way to say, respect the status quo, do not overreach, do not undersell.
Yeah. But I do feel that if there's one thing that I like about the whole arranged marriage concept, is I like the practicality of it. If I were to extrapolate just one aspect of arranged marriages and say that, this is how we should approach love or dating in general, it would be the practicality aspect, like the biodata. I found the biodata cute. From a comedy perspective, I found it very cute. Someone's photo and the whole philosophy of life. And
But is this new to you?
no, no. I mean, I've not. I've not. I know no one has made. But my parents have not made a biodata for me.
It is new. It is new to you. Yeah,
It's new. This whole show. Okay, see, I'll tell you something. This whole show with the depth that it has is new for me. Like the closest my mom has ever come to an arranged marriage is after one particular breakup where she said, hey, you want me to set you up with somebody from church. That's it.
So sweet. Yeah.
And that's it. And I was just like, Mom, my problem is not finding someone. that is not the issue. It's just the whole. And you know what I mean? Yeah. तुझे कौन सा कमी है रो? चल. Don't be all like. But you know what I mean? So.
When you're on dating apps, it's different, because your parents are not involved. Okay. And I'm talking from a space where what happens when the parents are not around?
Correct.
Sometimes people have terrible experiences on dating apps, right? So
True.
In that way, I think the arranged marriage setup kind of like, gives the illusion that you are protected in this matchmaking.
You're not.
But you're not.
You're
exactly. Not. Because here, it's one family rejecting another family only.
Yeah.
Saying that aapki beti achhi nahi hai, And coming back to this concept of rejecting, did you notice how the pride in which Pradyuman says, isne to pehle se 70-80 girls ko reject kar diya hai. The amount of power that you give the upper caste Indian man, okay, and preserve that caste system so strongly, because what is this? This whole like, who are you? Rakhi Sawant? Like, ye kya swayamvar chal raha hai? Like, kaun ho tum yaar? Only a man with money, and this happens only in India, can have this sort of biodata and reject people. Varna tu mere ko bata, real world, you, me, we go to social.
You go to fancy places also, once in a while.
I'm saying, Pradyuman is at the opposite table. Would you ever think of talking to Pradyuman? Okay, and I'm not being mean to him. I'm just saying how weird it is. But in his world, he is the king because he has rejected 70 women. It's crazy.
Yeah. And we have been rejected by 70 people.
What?
No, I'm saying collectively, maybe, not 70, 30.
I don't think so.
Achha, okay, fine, Ro. You're the queen of your world. Pradyuman is the king of his world. I am the court jester of this kingdom.
You have not been rejected.
Nee, yaar, why? It's everyone. I think everyone goes through it. But see, the difference here, Ro, and it's a good thing we're talking about, is the rejection that we go through is on our own accord. For whatever intents and purposes, okay, we liked someone. And we expressed our like for that person, and for some reason that person didn't like us back, and we dealt with it. But okay, this is something I need to work on. Maybe I need to be better in some area, whatever it is, for whatever reason. I'm saying it's okay if somebody doesn't like you. It's not the end of the world. Just because you have feelings for someone, it doesn't mean that they're going to have feelings for you. That's fine. But the problem here is that the families are putting you in that situation. They're putting you in a situation where you are otherwise you were not likely to meet someone like Pradyuman. You'd just be minding your own business, doing your own thing. And now suddenly your family is going, hey, do you want my daughter? And then he's like, no, bro, because I have my own picture on my door.
No handle, correct?
No handle, just my face. Yeah. So that's the whole difference. So there is a telling effect on the kids that Indian parents just seem to be clueless about. And speaking about Indian parents, I have this belief that Indian parents tend to bite off more than they chew when it comes to their kids, and where they believe that they know the answer to everything. Their kids don't know anything. So it is their responsibility. It's a very misplaced sense of responsibility that, oh, I need to find someone for my daughter. I need to find someone for my son. Otherwise, they will be on the street. How will this person survive?
Correct. Absolutely. And this comes from the whole ownership, but this is also a factor of class and money. Once again, I keep going back to it because, sometimes not having money is the most liberating thing in the world. Aap mujhse pucho.
Hey, listen. Mera electricity na Adani se aata hai. Please don't say stuff like not having.
Okay. Let me give you a sense of perspective. if Pradyuman was not this rich boy, you think he would reject 70, 80 girls?
No chance to. Of course. See, your
Yes,
socio-economic status is a big uh, card to be played, not just when it comes to love, but every aspect of life.
yeah.
Like when a guy like Pradyuman drives on the street, also he expects everybody to give way because he's Pradyuman. See, I'm not saying he's a douche or anything. He might be a nice guy. I don't know, but you know what I mean.
But it's
You,
money driven. This entire
yes,
thing is driven by money, and this also proves, this show proves that money does not equal to class.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it's so crazy how money, you might think you earn money and you can do whatever you want. Look at this. This is the opposite in our society. The more money you have, the more oppressed you are, because
yeah,
your money did not buy you your freedom, buddy. Like
yeah,
your parents are just like, you are incapable. We made all this money. So guess what? You listen to us.
yeah. Fair enough. So coming back to Netflix, and I do feel that Netflix, the team at Netflix India, has a very unique taste when it comes to content. But so a lot of people hate the show. They outright rejected it. They're like, this is whatever. It's too triggering. I'm not going to watch this. And if you watch it, you're also part of the problem. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think this was a very important show to come out during a time where everybody had a lot of time.
Yes, absolutely.
Uh,
And also that we're trying to build this idea of India being XYZ, right? Like,
hmm,
oh, yeah, we legalized, homosexuality, or
yeah,
we criminalized 377. We're a very liberal country, like, look at
yeah,
us. We are on the internet. But the reality of India is arranged marriage and abusive trolling. These are
hmm,
the two realities and that's why people hate the show. It's because you're just like, oh, no, 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 you're part of the problem. Nobody.
no,
90% of India is this. This is
yeah.
the India. So,
This is the problem. No one's part of the problem. This is the problem. And I think a lot of people watching this podcast also are at that stage of their life where they might be having conversations like these. People who are finishing their graduation, or people who got their first job and their parents are just chewing their heads off about, hey, now it's time to find you someone. Huh? Nah, you have to be flexible. You have to be, what is the other thing they said? Flexible. What are the keys to a successful marriage? Flexibility,
compromise.
compromise, and adjustment. I love compromise and adjustment. I love how they equated marriage to traveling in a Virar local. Thoda adjust,
I just tell you.
thoda. So
And
I,
the interesting part is how none of the narratives talk about the men being compromising, the men
yeah,
being adjusting, the men
yeah,
being flexible. And that, I think, is what has pissed people off. Like, at least
hmm,
the liberals, of course, are like,
yeah,
oh, like, why can't this? Yeah, it's for everybody. Men are also being oppressed. Look at the show. Like,
yeah.
pure
Yeah,
अच्छे से.
and I also want to say, as somebody who has never been married, the key to a successful marriage is not flexibility, adjustment, or compromise. Okay, that if anyone says any of these three things to you when you're speaking to somebody about marriage, please run. Uh,
I get what
Krupya.
they say, but I don't like the fact that the ask is only of the girl.
Huh. See,
That's not fair.
see, I'm not saying marriage is easy or stuff like that. I mean, we've all seen our parents do it. We are seeing our friends do it. But to say that it's the foundation of a good marriage is, I feel, is a bit of a stretch. Because the minute you throw in words like compromise, then you're opening yourself up to a whole world of pain that you shouldn't have to. Like, you didn't get to a certain point in your life, work your ass off, get yourself a good career, make a decent amount of money and stand on your own 2 feet for you to then say, okay, I will not do this because my husband doesn't like it, or I will stop doing that because my wife doesn't like it. You are your own person. Your partner needs to be their own person. Maybe I'm too idealistic, but that's how I see it. I think it needs to be two symbiotic worlds coming together rather than two people clinging on. I like a rose just outright. No one has ever like rejected.
Not in India. तू abroad जा और तू यहाँ पे कार वेंडर में रह और ये सब तेरे घर में चलता होगा. Okay, जो real India है
Wait,
घर में.
okay, fine. I agree. The real India is like a very different place.
Let's put this way, Danny. You're not living with your parents, right?
No.
Exactly.
But there's a reason for that, not because that is part of a part that is part of a design. That is part of an instituted design where I decided at the age of 19 that I will not live here. I need to step out and do my own thing. See, um, there is only so much. So there's only so many excuses you can make as a person for why your life turned out a certain way. Is that's fair? I think, I think especially with young people, I think it's important to like keep your eyes open and go, hey, okay, what kind of life do I want to have? And there are today, bro, you and I both know people who can do this, but they refuse to leave the nest.
Yeah,
They
of course.
so
They love it. They love it. And all I'm trying to say is that there is a huge privilege, okay, among people like us. We're the same people who watch the show, laugh at the show, and and say that this is hilarious because touch wood, man, we have had an option, But the majority of this country is this, right? Where the girl is getting married off into this person's house. There still is dowry. It's called gift. Okay, it's called मैं अपनी
Stridan. It's called Stridan.
It's like मैं अपनी बेटी को बेच देना चाहता हूँ ना, आपको क्या problem है? Now it's ulta. Whether father, the in-laws are like, no, please don't give us anything, and then he's like, but I want to give my daughter. What's the problem? And then okay, no problem. But the fact is that this is the truth of the country, Indian men. Okay, I'm not generalizing. I'm talking about the Indian men who are so comfortable with this setup that they need someone who's adjusting. They need someone who's flexible, and there are equal and more amount of women who have grown up this way, gearing up for the life, saying, you know what, I want to stay with someone and his mom, for example. I want to take care of his family. So that's why the show is such a genius, because as you said, it's not like it's not fiction, it's reality. You can't judge these people. This is their reality. And that's why it works. It's so voyeuristic. And I also think that the voyeurism is us, because we are looking into the real lives of these people and being like, oh my God, did she do that? And like they're looking at us saying, hamare yahan to aise hi hota hai abhin. Like,
okay, so sorry, I have a question. Okay, so what does everyone do with a show like this, in the sense that, okay, it has definitely started a conversation, everybody's talking about it. I got 3 messages today from different people going, hey, random people, hey, have you watched this show, have you seen this thing? So my question is now, okay, so fine, we acknowledge our privilege in the sense that we don't have to go through something like this, we never had to go through something like this. Then we know people who are going through stuff like this in our own circles, and then there's an even bigger group of people who are living this nightmare. It's not fun for them. So what do we do with this? Like, so what would you say to a young person right now, as somebody who is where you are and who's had the life experiences that you had? What would you say to somebody watching this right now, who's a young person, and they might be entering this world? What would you say to them?
I would say, like, guys, like, don't let other people dictate your life choices. That's for sure. That's number one. Secondly, there are these sort of superficial things that the show harps on. Like, for example, tall, or slim trim, slim trim fair. These are things that we've been fighting for a long time. So if you're not slim trim fair, if you're not tall, if you're any of these things that people don't want, celebrate it, okay? Because let's just turn around and believe in the fact that we will find our partners, eventually, okay? Also, my bigger request to people is, do not look for someone to complete you,
Yes.
Please be enough for yourself, and know that you're enough for yourself. This idea that we are incomplete without a partner is something I have a big problem with, and because I have had the partner of my dreams, and then, unfortunately, if you don't know, he was taken away from me. I think I spent the rest of the last couple of years trying to figure out who I was, without my partner, and it has really held me in good stead. And पहले अपने आप को figure out करो यार, फिर figure out करो तुम्हें दूसरों से क्या चाहिए.
Yeah, and I think also a very practical way to do that, if you're a young person right now who's living with your parents, is move out. It is one of the most practical things you will do with your life. Nothing teaches you the realness of what it takes to be an adult in this living world than you having to set up your own place and paying, running the house, paying your bills and stuff like that. So even if you have to share an apartment, get out. And that's also the best way to escape the constant nagging, because now the nagging gets transferred from being in person to over the phone, and then you can manage that, and then just spread your wings and fly, dude. I
I mean,
think.
if you can afford it, because I know a lot of people can't move out their homes because one parent hasn't survived, so they feel responsible
Yeah.
for their only surviving parent. There are lots of reasons why they may not be able to do this, but I think that if you're in a space where you're being forced to get married, okay, and you're going through this, and because you don't want to be a part of this, then in that case you might have to just turn around and have a conversation with your parents and tell them that this is not good for me or my mental health. Please don't do this to me. And I think most of us are just afraid to say that.
Yeah, because we just don't come from a generation that has had real conversation with their parents, and do we just don't like
it gets tougher when you're also dependent on them, which is where your point comes in.
Exactly. So I think, and Andrew rightfully pointed out that, yeah, it's not something everybody can do, but wherever possible, do it. But I do believe that independence, whether it's in terms of moving out of the house or at least standing up on your own feet and earning your own money, whatever it is, seek independence first in whatever way you can. That independence will be your strength. If you're dependent on your parents for far too long, then that becomes your weakness, and that dependency will then become a shackle around you, and then you can't, then it's hard to
Say you want to go with your parents arranged marriage. Sometimes people want to do that, right? At least within that, try and be vocal about a few things, saying that I don't care if my bride to be is slim, trim, tall, fair. Say that, mom, this doesn't matter to me. And for that, you have to be a really, really non-shallow person, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to turn around and say, no, I don't care if she's fair or not. Number one. Number two, I want to meet her and I want to like her, instead of it being like this sort of like family kamilan. Okay. And number three, please always respect the person who comes to our house. Like, do not assume she's here to do ghar ka kaam. And I think that's something that I want men to kind of stand up for. Because ये जो respect की आड़ में बहुत सारे औरतों के साथ, like ना how she is, ना how my mom is, she'll get very angry. Don't angry her. These are like soft aggressions, Danny, and they are meant to keep the system going. So yeah, as you can see, I have a lot to say about this.
Yeah, but then we'll have to wrap up the podcast also.
Whenever it's your podcast,
So let's tie this up in a nice bow if possible, because this is very complex. It's very layered.
I think we should go back to the show. Okay. And we should talk about, you'll be editing this, na?
No, I think it's pretty much as is. Yeah, we are natural. Yeah. We are one take wonders. Why edit?
I think we should go back to the show. And
okay.
We should ask each other, if we had to pick one person on the show who we'd like to marry, who would it be?
Okay. I would pick Nadia.
Of course you'd pick Nadia. Of course.
Like, I mean, out of all the options.
I would also pick Nadia.
Then how would this work, Ro? Then you'll have to move into my house.
Oh, nice. It'll be 3 people married to each other.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, this has happened. Do you know this? This has happened in America. There's this guy who's married to 2 women. I don't think they're married, but they are together. He's with 2 women. Sorry, they're not married. I read this. They are both his girlfriends. He has 2 kids with the first girlfriend, and now the second girlfriend is expecting a child, and the kids call the second girlfriend mommy. So they are basically raising an entire family between the 3 of them. And apparently it's like they say it's super practical and stuff like that. So when 2 of them go out on a date night, the third one's there to look after the kids and vice versa, among many other things. And I was just like,
yeah, because if I had to pick one of the men, like, oh my god, like I don't even know who I would pick.
I think you and Vyasar would be a good pair,
because they're South Indian.
No, just the vibe. I think if you observe with the way even Vyasar's students,
nerdy, yeah, he's too nerdy. Like in my real life, I would reject a Vyasar.
Really?
I'm sorry. I'll tell you, he's too nerdy. Okay, and I don't like this sort of nerdy, like it's not my vibe.
Okay, chalo, fine.
I don't know my soul, yeah.
Okay, fine. Vyasar is out. Who else? Who are we left with? Akshay, Pradyuman.
Actually, no, nobody. None of them.
No.
Srini, I like Srini.
Srini, yeah, the guy with the axe.
But he was damn cool.
Yeah. So okay, so fine. So you and Srini, Nadia, and I, then we can like go on a double date or something like that.
See how I'm also gravitating towards the South.
I'll have to run this by my lawyer first to see if it's possible, but also, by the way, guys, fun fact for anybody watching this, none of the alliances in the show worked out, by the way.
Yeah. And
Seema, auntie, we read up on this. Seema auntie has 100% failure rate on that show. None of the people she set up worked out. So, and it went as far as even Akshay got engaged to that girl, and apparently they found out something about the girl that they didn't like, and then they called off the engagement.
What thing? Oh, that was Pradyuman.
That was you said Pradyuman. Yeah. So
like, oh, she's a gold digger, and I was like, what? Like, firstly, like, yeah, because whatever, but that's mean. I don't know.
See, gold diggers is a separate episode that we'll have to do, because that is a.
No, I mean, I don't believe it because it's a very, very male narrative to put out there about a woman who have broken this rishta. You know, so it's very common. Again, let me tell you, I know these circles. In these circles, if something happens, guy also fucks up, na? The guy will turn out to like, nahi, pata chala ki uska bahut sara affair tha.
Oh, that no one's taking that away. But I think there is a little bit of truth to every stereotype, or so to say. You know, I'll leave it at that for now, from my own, and I'm talking from my own experience. So let me leave it at that. But I want to end this episode on a lighter note. So I saw this Facebook status update from a friend of mine. She's married and she has a couple of kids, and she put up a status update saying today that her kids have started singing "Mummy has a little man" instead of "Mary has a little lamb." And I was like, I laughed so hard, and I was like, please do not correct them. Let this be the new version of the song. Let them go around telling everybody, like, no, this is the song, guys. I don't know why you're shazamming it. It's "Mummy has a little man." All right. So on that note, I'm going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Ro, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. We will do our own personal gup shop separately after this one. But before I wrap up quickly, I would quickly want to give you guys show updates. Again, there are tickets for tonight's show for HOTBOX. Then next week, I'm doing Jokes from the Vault, July 31st. You started it live on August 1st, and my birthday special on August 2nd. It's called HOTBOX 36. Tickets for all the shows again are in the video description. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Ro, is there anything that you would like to plug? Any show? You're doing some new stuff with the Film Companion, right?
Yes, I'm on the internet now, and let's just say I have a new set of trolls. It's pretty wonderful, guys. But the internet is a wonderful place, but I was really mistaken. So yeah, I host an interview show, guys, outside of my radio gigs.
Awesome. So do check out Rohini as well. She's also on Instagram at Ro Talks. I'm on Instagram at Absolutely Danny. This podcast is on a pay-as-you-like model. So if you enjoyed this episode and if you want to pay for the podcast, the link is in the description as well. Please keep your comments and suggestions coming. Let us know what you thought about Indian matchmaking, who your favorite characters were, and what you've learned from the show. Always a pleasure to hear from the fans. So this is me signing off now. This is Ro and I signing off. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had fun. Take care. Goodbye.